My name is Victoria Morgan. I'm 38 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my family stole my grandmother's inheritance, what I went through to get it back, and what happened when I finally found the proof that destroyed them. My grandmother, Eleanor, was the most important person in my life. She was my mother's mother. She was a kind woman. She was a gentle woman. She was the only person who ever made me feel loved. She was the only person who ever made me feel seen. She was the only person who ever made me feel like I mattered. My parents never loved me the way they loved my brother, David. They gave him everything. They gave him attention. They gave him money. They gave him opportunities. They gave him everything I never had. They gave him the world. They gave him everything. But my grandmother loved me. She saw me. She saw the potential in me. She saw the person I was going to become. She saw everything my parents refused to see. She saw the real me. She saw the person I was meant to be. When I was 18 years old, my grandmother got sick. She had cancer. It was aggressive. It was stage 4. It was terminal. It was devastating. It was heartbreaking. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. She called me to her house. She said, "Victoria, I need to talk to you about something important." I went to her house. She was lying in bed. She was thin. She was weak. She was dying. She was fading away. She was leaving me. She said, "Victoria, I'm leaving everything to you. The house, the savings, the jewelry, everything. I want you to have it all. You're the one who deserves it. You're the one who's going to do something with it." I started to cry. I said, "Grandma, no. I can't take everything. What about Mom and Dad? What about David? They're your family too." She said, "Victoria, I love them, but they don't deserve it. Your mother has always been cruel to you. Your father has always ignored you. David has always taken everything from you. They don't deserve anything. You do." She said, "I've written a will. I've given it to my lawyer. His name is Mr. Thompson. He's going to make sure you get everything. Don't let them take it from you. Don't let them take anything." She died 2 weeks later. I was 18 years old. I was devastated. I had lost the only person who ever loved me. A week after my grandmother died, my mother called me. She said, "Victoria, come to the house. We need to talk about your grandmother's will." I went to the house. My parents were there. David was there. They were all sitting at the kitchen table. They were all looking at me. They were all waiting. My mother said, "Victoria, your grandmother left a will. She left everything to you. We want you to know that we're not going to let that happen. We're going to fight it." I said, "Mom, that's what Grandma wanted." She told me. She said she wanted me to have everything. My father said, "Victoria, your grandmother was sick. She wasn't in her right mind. She didn't know what she was doing. You can't take advantage of her." I said, "Dad, I didn't take advantage of her. She made that decision on her own. She loved me. She wanted me to have everything." My mother said, "Victoria, you're a liar. You manipulated her. You took advantage of her. You made her change her will. You stole from your own grandmother." I said, "Mom, I didn't do anything. I didn't ask her for anything. She made that decision on her own." My brother said, "Victoria, you don't deserve anything. You're worthless. You've always been worthless. You're just trying to take everything from me." I left the house. I was devastated. I couldn't believe my own family was turning against me. I couldn't believe they were doing this to me. I couldn't believe they hated me this much. I hired a lawyer. His name was Mr. Thompson. He was my grandmother's lawyer. He had known her for 30 years. He said, "Victoria, your grandmother made this will on her own. She was of sound mind. She knew what she was doing. I'm going to help you fight for what's rightfully yours." My parents hired a lawyer too. They said I had manipulated my grandmother. They said I had committed fraud. They said I had stolen from them. They said I was a liar. They said I was a thief. They said everything they could to destroy me. The fight began. It lasted 10 years. It was the worst 10 years of my life. It was the most painful 10 years of my life. It was the most exhausting 10 years of my life. I spent 10 years fighting for what was rightfully mine. I spent 10 years in court. I spent 10 years in legal battles. I spent 10 years being dragged through the mud. My parents said horrible things about me. They said I was greedy. They said I was selfish. They said I was a liar. They said I was a thief. They said I was everything I wasn't. They said everything they could to destroy me. I lost friends. I lost relationships. I lost jobs. I lost everything. I lost my youth. I lost my money. I lost my sanity. My mother called me once. She said, "Victoria, if you drop the case, I'll give you something. I'll give you $10,000. I'll give you a car. I'll give you something. Just stop fighting us." I said, "Mom, Grandma wanted me to have everything. She told me herself. She wanted me to have the house. She wanted me to have the savings. She wanted me to have the jewelry. I'm not going to stop fighting." She said, "Victoria, you're going to lose. You're going to lose everything. You're going to end up with nothing." I said, "Mom, I've already lost everything. I've lost my family. I've lost my friends. I've lost my life. I have nothing left to lose." The court case was long. It was 5 years of legal battles. It was 5 years of depositions. It was 5 years of hearings. It was 5 years of torture. My parents had a good lawyer. His name was Mr. Harrison. He was aggressive. He was ruthless. He said things about me that weren't true. He made me look like a liar. He made me look like a thief. He made me look like I was the worst person in the world. But Mr. Thompson was better. He was smarter. He had known my grandmother for 30 years. He knew her wishes. He knew what she wanted. He knew the truth. He presented evidence. He showed the court my grandmother's letters. He showed the court my grandmother's statements. He showed the court my grandmother's wishes. He showed the court everything. The judge ruled in my favor. He said, "The will is valid. The grandmother was of sound mind. She knew what she was doing. Victoria Morgan is the rightful heir." I won. I finally won. I had won. I inherited everything. I inherited the house. I inherited the savings. I inherited the jewelry. I inherited everything my grandmother wanted me to have. I was 28 years old. I had spent 10 years fighting for what was rightfully mine. I had lost everything. I had lost my youth. I had lost my money. I had lost my life. And now I finally had it. My parents were furious. They said, "Victoria, you've ruined everything. You've ruined this family. You've ruined our lives. You've ruined everything." I said, "Mom, I didn't ruin anything. I fought for what Grandma wanted. I fought for what was rightfully mine." My mother said, "Victoria, you're not going to get away with this. I'm going to find a way to take it away. I'm going to find a way to destroy you." I said, "Mom, you can try, but you're not going to win. I have proof. I have the will. I have the court case. I have everything." My parents didn't stop fighting. They found a way to take everything away from me. They said I had committed fraud. They said I had forged the will. They said I had stolen from my own grandmother. They said I was a thief. They said I was a liar. They said everything they could to destroy me. They hired a private investigator. He found someone who claimed I had done it. He found someone who claimed they had seen me forge the will. He found someone who said they had seen me steal. The accusations were false. They were all false. But they were convincing. They were believable. They were devastating. I lost the house. I lost the savings. I lost the jewelry. I lost everything. The next 5 years were the worst years of my life. I had nothing. I had lost everything. I had lost the inheritance. I had lost the house. I had lost the jewelry. I had lost everything. I was 33 years old. I was broke. I was alone. I was defeated. I was broken. I was destroyed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to move on. I didn't know how to keep going. I just wanted to give up. I just wanted to disappear. I just wanted to die. But I didn't give up. I kept going. I kept fighting. I kept believing that one day the truth would come out. I was 35 years old when I got a call from Mr. Thompson. He was 80 years old. He was retiring.
He wanted to see me one last time.
I went to his office. He was sitting at his desk. He was old. He was tired. He was ready to retire. He said, "Victoria, I have something for you. Something I've been keeping for 20 years. It's a letter. A letter from your grandmother." I said, "What letter?" He said, "Your grandmother wrote this letter before she died. She gave it to me and asked me to give it to you when the time was right." He reached into his drawer. He pulled out a sealed envelope. It was old. It was yellowed. It was addressed to me. "Victoria," he said, "I've been keeping this for 20 years. I wanted someone to know the truth." I opened the envelope. I started reading. I couldn't stop. The letter was in my grandmother's handwriting. I recognized it immediately. It was shaky. It was old. It was barely legible, but it was hers. "Dear Victoria, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm sorry I never told you these things while I was alive. I was afraid. I was afraid of your mother. I was afraid of your father. I was afraid of your brother. I was afraid of what they would do. But I need you to know the truth. The truth about your family. The truth about your mother. The truth about your father. The truth about your brother. Your mother has always favored your brother.
I don't know why.
I never understood it. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are kind. You are everything a person could want in a daughter. But your mother never saw that. She only saw what she wanted to see. She only saw your brother. She only saw what she wanted to see. When you were born, I held you in my arms. I said, this one is special. This one is going to do great things. And I was right. You did do great things. You did everything they said you couldn't do. You are a survivor. You are a fighter. You are everything. I want you to know that I love you. I have always loved you. I have never loved anyone as much as I love you. Don't let them take anything else from you. Don't give them anything else. They have taken enough. You have given enough. It's time to stop giving. It's time to take care of yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be seen. I love you, Victoria. I have always loved you. I will always love you. Forever. Grandma. I read the letter 3 times. I cried. I couldn't stop crying. I realized everything. My grandmother had known. She had known what my parents would do. She had known they would try to take everything from me. She had left me this letter to give me strength. She had left me this letter to remind me who I really was. I called Mr. Thompson. I said, "Why didn't you give me this before? Why did you wait so long?" He said, "I didn't know how. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't think you were ready, but I think now you are." I said, "Mr. Thompson, thank you. Thank you for keeping the letter. Thank you for telling me the truth." I went to my parents' house. I had the letter in my hand. I had the proof. I had everything. My mother was in the kitchen. She was cooking dinner. She didn't look up when I walked in. She said, "Victoria, what are you doing here? You didn't call." I said, "Mom, we need to talk." I placed the letter on the counter. I said, "Mom, do you know what this is?" She looked at it. She said, "What is this?" I said, "This is a letter from Grandma. She wrote it before she died. She gave it to Mr. Thompson. She asked him to give it to me when the time was right." My mother said, "Victoria, I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Mom, Grandma knew what you would do. She knew you would try to take everything from me. She left me this letter to give me strength." I started reading from the letter. I read about the favoritism. I read about the manipulation. I read about the lies. I read about everything. My mother's face turned pale. She said, "Victoria, I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Mom, I have proof. I have evidence. I have everything. You manipulated me. You pressured me. You lied to me. You took everything from me." My father came into the room. He said, "Victoria, what's going on?" I said, "Dad, you manipulated me. You pressured me. You lied to me. You took everything from me. You gave everything to David. You destroyed my life. I never spoke to my parents again. I never saw them again. I never wanted to. I moved on. I rebuilt my life. I found happiness. I found peace. I kept the house. I kept the savings. I kept the jewelry. I kept everything. I am 38 years old now. I have a good life. I have a good job. I have good friends. I have everything I ever wanted. My parents are old. They are alone. They have nothing. If you've ever had to fight your own family for what was rightfully yours, I want you to hear something. You didn't deserve what happened to you. You didn't deserve to be used. You didn't deserve to be manipulated. You didn't deserve to be taken advantage of. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be believed. You deserve to be loved. My name is Victoria Morgan. I'm 38 years old. I fought my family for 10 years.
And I won.
If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.